Hello, my name is Carolyn Rivera. Welcome to this online training event for GCSE Physical Education. This training event is designed to support teachers delivering our Pearson Edexcel GCSE PE qualification. The aim is to give you guidance on how to film and record evidence of the practical activities which is required for assessment and moderation purposes for full course 1PEO03 Practical Performance. We are using examples of candidates' work to highlight some of the key issues involved in filming evidence. The examples are not intended to represent course structures, delivery or assessment standards. In this session, we will understand the purpose for recording and submitting video evidence for GCSE PE Component 3 Practical Performance. We will examine what needs to be included in the video evidence. Learn how to present the video evidence. Understand the importance of checking that video evidence is ready to submit and fit for purpose. And know how to submit video evidence and obtain further support. The purpose for recording and submitting video evidence for GCSE PE Component 3 Practical Performance is to record evidence of all the marks that have been awarded for both elements of the Practical Performance Activity Criteria, or the PAC. That will include evidence of the assessment of the skills in isolation and the assessment of the application of skills, techniques and decision-making in a formal competitive situation. The recording must provide justification of all the marks that have been awarded for all candidates who have been assessed and who are part of the sample for moderation. Recordings must be made under controlled conditions, which means that there should not be any coaching or instructing during the assessment and filming of the performance. Let us now examine what should be included in the filming of the assessment of the skills in isolation, as that is the first element of the activity criteria. Candidates should be filmed demonstrating 4 skills or techniques from the list in the criteria, with some exceptions such as athletics and swimming, where all the skills listed should be performed. Skills are hierarchical from basic to advanced, and practices should be differential according to candidate marks. Those who are awarded marks in the top-level marking bands should be filmed performing the more advanced and challenging skills than those who have been awarded marks in the lower-level mark bands. The level of demand of a skill or technique should never precede the quality of the performance, as this would disadvantage candidates. Assessment, and therefore filming, will be based on the quality, technical accuracy, control and fluency of the preparation, execution and recovery of each skill that is being demonstrated. When recording the skills in isolation, the focus should be on the body position, alignment and balance, for example, head positioning and focus, leg and arm coordination and movement. It is expected that those who have been awarded the higher level marks should perform the skills with a greater degree of speed and intensity. We will now examine the requirements for filming evidence of the assessment of the application of skills, techniques and decision-making in a formal competitive situation. This element of the assessment criteria should be presented in the context of a fully competitive game, race or routine, depending on the activity or sport. It is important to consider that the assessment criteria incorporate a range of performance traits, all of which must be applied when awarding marks for this element of the assessment criteria, and evidence of which must be presented when filming. Just to recap, the performance traits are as follows: that candidates should demonstrate skills in physical activity and sport, applying appropriate techniques. Demonstrate and apply appropriate decision-making skills, strategies and/or compositional ideas. Demonstrate ideas and problem-solving solutions in spontaneous and/or predetermined ways whilst under pressure. Use appropriate physical characteristics, attributes. Demonstrate psychological control to achieve successful performance and fair play in physical activity and sport. Demonstrate application of team strategies and/or compositional ideas. Communicate effectively with others. Demonstrate individual role in achieving a collective outcome. Show awareness of and respond to the actions of other players and performers. And adhere to rules, health and safety guidelines, and consider appropriate risk management techniques. Candidates are marked as individuals in each activity. Therefore, candidate identification must be clear throughout the recording. Each candidate who is being assessed in an activity and who is being filmed should be introduced at the beginning of each performance. They should state their name, their candidate number, their coloured numbered bib, and their player role if playing in a team game, such as wing defence in netball, goalkeeper, etc. The following videos will demonstrate how this is done. If taking part in a swimming or athletics activity, it is helpful if candidates state their lane number. To help further identification of those who are being filmed, superimpose captions on screen. Add a brief commentary, although it is not necessary to comment all the way through a recording. The following video will show you how this has been achieved at the beginning of a netball practice.
Okay, GCSE PE netball assessment, skills and drills, blue goal attack, blue centre, blue wing attack.
Displaying information about candidates' past performances or standards on the video is not needed, as judgments will be based on the actual evidence of the assessment of the performance for which the marks have been awarded. Candidate kit should support identification on the recording by wearing different numbered coloured bibs and shirts. It is only necessary for those who are being filmed to wear some form of separate identification. Aim to use distinctive numbered coloured bibs, i.e. white on blue, black, red, or black on orange as seen in the image on the screen. Avoid using white on yellow or black on blue, again as seen in the image on the screen. Another factor that needs to be considered when deciding how to present your video evidence is the length of the video evidence to be submitted. It is a fine balance between providing either too little or too much footage as evidence. Some of the key points to consider are as follows. The length of footage will vary according to the number of candidates involved and the activity being filmed. If a candidate is being assessed and filmed in the dance activity, it is a requirement that they demonstrate any 4 of the listed skills from the criteria as evidence of the skills in isolation. It is recommended that these skills are repeated a few times to consistently demonstrate the quality of the performance. For example, travel down the room 2 or 3 times if travelling is one of the 4 skills being assessed. The same procedure should then follow for the filming of the other 3 skills. Following the filming of the 4 skills in isolation, the candidate should then be filmed performing a routine lasting between 2 to 3 minutes. In the swimming activity, there is an expectation that candidates are able to demonstrate all of the skills listed in the criteria. They should be observed performing a length showing each of the skills if the pool is 20 meters long, for instance, in which case they will perform 1 length showing arm action, followed by 1 length performing the leg action, until all skills have been shown. Obviously, it is possible to combine the skills of breathing technique and body position. A fully competitive race should then be provided separately as evidence for meeting the requirements of the assessment of the application of skills, techniques, and decision-making in a formal competitive situation. If assessing and filming a game, evidence of the skills in isolation is required as listed in the criteria for each activity. Evidence of the assessment of the application of skills, techniques, and decision-making should be shown as 1 game if football, netball, hockey, handball, basketball, rugby, for example, and consist of 2 halves of approximately a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes and playing to the full rules of the game. As a rough guide, if you base the timing around a 1-hour session in length for the filming of each activity, that should enable you to provide sufficient evidence of both elements of the assessment criteria and what is usually observed as evidence during a visiting moderation session. As has already been stated, all evidence must be shown from both elements of the assessment criteria. Where it is a requirement that candidates demonstrate 4 skills in isolation, it is only necessary to show that number, no more and no less, as the assessment is based on the quality of the performance rather than quantity. The skills in isolation must be filmed separately to the application of skills, and they should not be incorporated. The following video will show you how you could present an activity using the trampolining activity as an example.
Skills in isolation, basic jumps, tuck jump, pike jump, and straddle jump. I'm not going to say that. Front drop. And back drop. Or front to seat. Boy. And front drop, half twist. Straight and you didn't quite rotate round. Back drop, half defeat. And half. Advanced twists, half turntable. Advanced landings, front drop to back drop. Advanced landings, cradle. Somersaults, back somersault.
Practices and game situations must allow candidates to appropriately demonstrate their abilities and justify marks that have been awarded. So to sum up, a range of increasingly progressive practices followed by a game, competitive situation or formal performance should be included in the video. Looking at the length of video evidence to be submitted further, it is important to note that all recordings must be a complete and unedited recording of each performance. However, it is not necessary to record the warm-up, any teacher instructions, and any changeover between the activities. Video evidence should not be submitted as a series of clips or highlights of good and or positive performances only, and from different times. Rather, it should be presented as one piece of continuous footage as would occur during an assessment lesson. It is possible to record evidence of the skills in isolation at a different time to the evidence of the application of skills, techniques and decision making. Moving on to having a look at some of the practical issues with reference to filming. A range of video footage should be provided to include different angles. That is, use of wide angle to capture an overall view of the game, competitive situation and or performance, and close range to capture specific skills and techniques. Ensure that those who are being assessed are always in shot, as is evident in this example of the candidate who is being filmed in the basketball activity. The following video will show you how this is done using an example from a basketball activity. Make sure that the end product of the performance is captured. For example, where the shuttle lands when playing an overhead clear in badminton, or where a service lands in tennis. The type of recording device that is recommended is one that is best able to capture the requirements of the assessment criteria and show the candidates' performances in their best possible light so as to justify the marks that have been awarded. This could be a traditional camera with a wide angle and zoom facility, if recording performances that require the camera and or shot to be still, as in trampolining, diving and badminton for example, a tripod or camera stabilizing mount is useful to provide image stabilization. An iPad camera, a GoPro camera, which is suitable for outdoor activities and when following a candidate in an activity such as skiing. The following video will show you how this can be achieved in a fast-moving activity like skiing.
Claudia de la Peña doing a slalom course in a competitive situation. Go.
Be wary of using a mobile phone to provide evidence of the assessment of the practical activities for GCSE PE, as they are unlikely to capture the required level of quality of evidence. Before you submit your video evidence for moderation, there are a few things to consider, which are as follows. Check the recording before submitting as evidence. Make sure that it has worked. Ensure that both elements of the assessment criteria have been recorded. Check that sound has been recorded and that candidates can always be seen clearly. Keep extraneous noise to a minimum, such as that from spectators who may be watching a competitive game. Check that you are happy that the video evidence can fully justify the marks that have been awarded. The above checks could all be undertaken as part of the internal standardisation process. It is acknowledged that filming any activity is challenging, although the importance of providing clear and adequate evidence to justify the marks that have been awarded by the teacher assessors cannot be underestimated. For further support, I would encourage you to sign up to the regular updates sent out by our subject advisor, Penny Lewis. That is if you have not done so already. Penny is accessible through our subject page and landing pages for individual qualifications, the link to which you will find on this slide. You will also find the most up-to-date information about the digital submission platform on the subject page and through the subject advisor. The full list of guidelines and requirements concerning the recording of the practical performances can be found in the specification in Appendix 4, Recording Practical Performances. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have found this presentation useful. Good luck.